I once wrote the perfect love letter, but for 50 years, I had no idea it was never delivered. It was supposed to be just another ordinary afternoon. I had spent the morning arguing with my granddaughter, Lily, over my so-called hoarding problem. She had a habit of barging into my house every few weeks, insisting I get rid of things. "Grandpa, do you really need all this stuff?" She sighed, hands on her hips, surveying my cluttered garage. "Of course I do," I grumbled, wiping my hands on my jeans. "That toolbox? Had it since 1985. That old radio? Still works if you hit it the right way. Everything in here has a purpose." She rolled her eyes. "And what about that box over there? The one covered in about 50 years of dust?" I turned. In the corner, half buried under old newspapers and forgotten tools, sat an old wooden chest. I frowned. It had been ages since I even looked at that thing. Curiosity got the better of me. I pried it open, coughing as a cloud of dust exploded in my face. Inside were stacks of old letters, keepsakes, and an envelope. My name was written on it in my own handwriting. But the paper had yellowed, the ink slightly smudged. Something about it sent a strange chill down my spine. I turned it over. It was sealed. My heart stuttered. That wasn't possible. I knew this letter. I had written it 50 years ago. But if it was still here, a strange, uneasy feeling settled in my gut. With trembling fingers, I peeled it open. The words inside were mine, untouched by time. "Eleanor, if I don't tell you now, I never will. I've loved you from the moment I met you. And if you'd let me, I'd spend the rest of my life proving it." I had signed it, bold and certain. But it was never sent. I sank onto the floor, the garage fading around me. For half a century, I had believed Eleanor had read my words and chosen to walk away. I had spent years telling myself she had moved on, that she had never felt the same. But she never even knew. 50 years of silence, because of one undelivered letter. The weight of lost time settled on my chest, heavy and unforgiving. And then another thought hit me. Was it too late to fix it? Sleep was impossible that night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling fan creaking above me, my mind spinning like it had been thrown back in time. What if she had been waiting? What if this single mistake had cost us everything? At 3 a.m., I gave up on sleep. I shuffled to the kitchen, made myself a strong cup of coffee, and did something completely out of character. I opened my laptop. Now, I may be an old man, but I'm not completely useless with technology. Sure, I've sent a few texts to the wrong people, and once accidentally ordered 20 pounds of dog food online, but I could manage a simple search. With a few clumsy keystrokes, I typed, "Eleanor Bennett, California." A dozen results popped up. I scrolled, my heart pounding, until there she was. Her picture stared back at me, older but still unmistakably her. Silver hair, those same kind eyes, and a smile that sent something warm and aching through my chest. She was alive. She was real. And she was living in a retirement home by the California coast. I sat there, gripping the edge of my desk, feeling like the floor had just been yanked out from under me. After all these years, she was still within reach. I didn't hesitate. I grabbed my phone and called Lily. "Grandpa," she groaned. "It's 6 in the morning. What's wrong? Are you okay?" "I need to go to California," I blurted out. Silence. Then, "Are you having a midlife crisis?" "Because, Grandpa, you're past midlife." "Very funny," I muttered. "Listen, it's important. There's someone I need to see." Lily sighed. "Who?" "Eleanor Bennett." Silence again. Then, in a voice much more awake, she asked, "Wait. As in the Eleanor? The one from all your old stories?" I exhaled. "Yeah, that one." Lily was at my house within an hour, fully dressed and armed with a road trip playlist she proudly declared was grandpa-friendly. "We're doing this," she said, tossing me the car keys. "But I'm picking the music." I groaned. "Just promise me there won't be any of that noise you call music." She grinned. "No guarantees." The trip started smoothly. The road stretched ahead of us, the Texas landscape fading behind as we made our way toward California. But, of course, nothing in life goes according to plan. 2 hours in, my old truck decided to betray me. With a loud bang, the front tire blew out. I swerved, cursing, and managed to pull over just before we ended up in a ditch. Lily stared at me. Seriously, Grandpa? You didn't check the tires before a 1,000-mile trip? I muttered something about back in my day, cars were built to last, but she wasn't buying it. While we waited for AAA, we found a small roadside diner. The waitress, a woman about my age with bright red lipstick and a teasing smile, handed me a coffee and said, "On the house, sweetheart." Lily nearly choked on her soda. "Oh my God. Grandpa, she's flirting with you." I sputtered. "She's just being nice." Lily leaned in. "You should go for it." "Eat your sandwich," I grumbled. Finally, after an excruciatingly long delay, we got back on the road. By the time we reached our hotel for the night, I was exhausted. But apparently, the universe wasn't done with me yet. As I walked into the lobby, a young receptionist took one look at me and shoved a mop into my hands. "Sir, the lobby floor needs cleaning." Lily collapsed into laughter. Actual, tear-inducing laughter. I sighed, staring at the mop in my hands. "Well, I do like a clean floor." The next morning, as we approached Eleanor's town, my nerves began to unravel. This was it. 50 years of regret, of wondering, of what-ifs, everything had led to this moment. But what if she had forgotten me? What if I was nothing but a name lost to time? I gripped the steering wheel, took a deep breath, and drove forward. There was only one way to find out. I stood outside the retirement home, my hands clammy despite the warm California sun. The building was beautiful, white walls, a wraparound porch with rocking chairs, and flower beds that looked like they were tended with care. It radiated a sense of peace. But peace was the last thing I felt. Lily nudged me. "You okay, Grandpa?" I let out a slow breath. "Do I look okay?" She tilted her head, scrutinizing me like a mechanic inspecting a rusty engine. "You look like a man about to pass out." "Helpful," I muttered. She grinned and patted my shoulder. "You got this. Just breathe. And maybe don't open with, 'Hey, remember that letter I never sent 50 years ago?'" I shot her a look. Noted. With my heart hammering against my ribs, I stepped inside. A woman at the front desk looked up and smiled. "Good afternoon. How can I help you?" I cleared my throat. "I'm looking for someone." "Eleanor Bennett. We knew each other a long time ago." Her smile softened. "Oh, Eleanor's wonderful. She's in the garden right now. Would you like me to take you to her?" My mouth felt dry. "Yes. Please." She led me down a sunlit hallway, past groups of seniors playing cards, reading, and chatting over tea. Finally, she opened a glass door leading to a small, well-kept garden. And there she was. Eleanor sat on a wooden bench, reading a book, completely lost in its pages. The late afternoon light caught the silver strands in her hair, and for a second, I wasn't an old man anymore. I was 22 again, seeing her across the library, pretending not to stare. My throat tightened. She looked up. Our eyes met. I expected recognition, a flicker of something. Instead, she frowned slightly. "Can I help you, sir?" The word "sir" nearly knocked me off my feet. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Lily, sensing disaster, jumped in. "Hi, Miss Eleanor. This is my grandpa, Frank. He has something for you." Eleanor's gaze shifted back to me. She studied my face, her brow furrowed. Then, after a long pause, she said slowly, "Frank Carter?" My heart leapt. "Yes, that's me." A flicker of something passed through her eyes. Uncertainty, recognition, disbelief. "Frank Carter," she repeated, as if testing the name. She didn't remember me. Not completely. My chest tightened, but I forced a smile. "Yeah, we went to college together. 1973. Her fingers traced the edge of her book. You used to dance terribly." Lily gasped. "Grandpa, you danced?" Eleanor smiled, and something in my ribs unclenched. "Well, dance is a generous term. He mostly stepped on people's feet." I chuckled. "Guilty as charged." She tilted her head. "Why are you here?" I reached into my pocket, pulling out the old envelope with careful hands. "Because of this." Her eyes dropped to the letter. Slowly, hesitantly, she took it. The garden was silent as she read. The wind rustled the leaves, a bird chirped somewhere, but I barely noticed. All I could see was the way her fingers trembled slightly as she held the paper. When she finished, she closed her eyes and pressed the letter to her chest. I waited, she whispered. A lump formed in my throat. You what? She looked at me, eyes shimmering. I waited, Frank. For a letter. For months. I thought you changed your mind. 50 years. 50 wasted years. I swallowed hard. Eleanor, I thought you ignored me. I thought you didn't feel the same way. Her voice wavered. I cared, Frank. I cared so much. The weight of everything we lost settled between us, thick and heavy. Then suddenly she let out a soft chuckle. Well, I suppose I should be furious with you for making me wait half a century. I let out a shaky laugh. I wouldn't blame you. She reached out, covering my hand with hers. But you're here now. And that was all that mattered. After that day, I came back. Every afternoon, I found myself in that same garden, sitting beside Eleanor. We talked about everything, the lives we had lived, the things we had missed, the people we had lost. She never married. Said no one ever made her heart race the way I once did. That knowledge sent a strange mix of guilt and joy swirling inside me. One afternoon, as we sat watching the sunset, she nudged me. So tell me, Frank, what exactly is your plan now that you've found me again? I grinned. Well, I was thinking of asking a certain lady out to dinner. She's quite remarkable, you know. Smart, beautiful, has excellent taste in books. She raised an eyebrow. Sounds like a catch. But I should warn you, I don't date men who take 50 years to ask me out. I laughed. Fair enough. How about this? Let's just take it one day at a time. She smiled. I like that plan. And so we did. We went on walks, danced in the common room. I was still terrible at it, and rediscovered the joy of simply being together. One evening, as we sat by the ocean, listening to the waves roll in, Eleanor leaned her head against my shoulder. Do you regret it? She asked softly. The lost time? Yes. I stared at the horizon. I used to, but not anymore. She looked up at me, her expression tender. Why not? I turned to her, brushing a strand of silver hair from her face. Because we still have now. And with that, I kissed her, gently like a promise, like all the years we had missed didn't matter anymore. We may have lost 50 years, but love has no expiration date. And as long as I still had time left, I'd spend every moment making up for the ones we lost.